The best thing I can do is try to just be available when creativity strikes.
He was like, may as well just post every day or post multiple times a day because that's the only way that you're gonna figure out what works and what doesn't.
As a vocalist, people might be like, "Yeah, I like her fit," or "Yeah, that's a cute background, but, like, can she actually sing?" You
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, the live performances and a good videographer
Man.
sends my algorithm to the roof.
I
Yeah.
put a little picture and it says, "Prepare to suck."
Mm.
And that really helped me. I was like, "I'm gonna suck, and that's okay," because make it exist first.
This is what you need to be doing to
Yeah.
have the, like,
Right.
make a Snapchat for the beginning and then make it a music video.
And just to be clear, like, not under a bridge, just him by himself. They threw a slappers and bangers under a bridge. So.
Jumping.
What's happening? Welcome to another episode of Chance Encounters. We are back for another season, and man, do we have a doozy. I got some very, very special guests with me today, and this episode is obviously sponsored by Espolon. Espolon Tequila. Even if you don't drink, you can just have them on your tables, but they are the gracious sponsor for this episode. Yes, and let's, before I introduce the guests, let's do a cheers one time. Cheers. More life. Cheers. Cheers. Well, yes, welcome to Chance Encounters. And today's guest, I want to go down the line. And first, we start off with a lovely young lady. She is a jazz soul singer from the Pittsburgh area. She just dropped her debut album, Sounds Like Honey. Give it up for Anya Nancy.
Yes.
Thanks for coming. And
having me.
yeah, and next, we have 10 years in the game as a DJ. He made his mark on the city of Pittsburgh with one of the biggest, if not the biggest party in the city. And I'm sure it's going to be coming to a town towards you. Give it up for Ari Cole in the building.
Thanks for having me. I'm very, very excited.
Yes, owner, co-founder of Slappers and Bangers. And last but not least, man, we have a hip hop legend. He might not accept, I don't know, but like we have a hip hop pioneer in the city of Pittsburgh, almost 20 years, if not 20 years in the game. Started out in the Shadow Lounge, early with Mac Miller, and he's paved his own way with, almost 20 something projects, and he just dropped Beatromania at the top of the year. So give it up for Beatty.
Appreciate you having me.
Of
Happy
course.
to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys pulled up, man. This is going to be a very fun episode, and I think it's going to help a lot of people, and with your guys' insight and how well you do social media and how seriously you take your craft. So I think this is going to be a very special one. So thank you for being here, and we are at the beautiful Studio Me in the city of Pittsburgh. So couldn't get any better than this. All right, so I'm gonna get it straight out the gate, guys. Okay. Beatty, I'm gonna start with you, man. So, like, describe to me the Pittsburgh music scene. How would you describe the current scene, and what makes it unique, if anything?
I mean, it's hard to say because in my viewpoint, it's a little bit fractured. There's a lot of awesome things happening, but like you mentioned, the Shadow Lounge, that was like my entryway to a community. And like, that community kind of got disbanded, like when the Shadow Lounge closed. There's a lot of dope stuff happening here. There's a lot of creative people. Other than that, I mean, fractured is definitely one of the words I would say that comes to mind first,
So
but very, very, there's a lot of creativity here, man. So,
you say it's fractured, so it's can obviously get better. So like,
definitely. I just mean as like people, from a coming together standpoint, you know what I mean? And like I said, this is my viewpoint just because of my entry point being in a place that no longer exists.
Right.
This last summer, there was a Shadow Lounge reunion party.
I didn't know
that. It was
that.
Awesome. It was very cool. It was right at the old Shadow Lounge. Like they blocked the whole street off in East Liberty. It was a great time. It was like a lot of people. It felt like a reunion, like a high school reunion type of environment. But it was great, man. But
okay.
like having that as my entry point,
Yeah.
I can't help but feel that way.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Anya, what do you like, give me your insight, because you come from a different space, singer,
Yeah.
jazz. How is the, music scene in your eyes in the city?
I do agree. I think there's a level of fracture in
Mhm.
the community, but I
Yeah.
also think it's very alive.
Mm,
We got a lot of creative people here. We have a lot of inspiration to pull some. You just got to kind of look for it. And there are pathways to be paved and walked on, that I truly believe that everybody has their own lane. Now, in Pittsburgh, ain't nothing handed to you.
Yeah.
So you got to put in the work. But it's there. And if you have the resources and you have the drive and you have the heart and the talent,
Mhm.
we live in the age of media and social media, and a lot of things are broadcasted through social media, which we're talking about today. So I do believe it's alive. I do believe it's fractured, but I do believe that love heals all. So let's just continue to pour into it, and support each other. And that's that community aspect you were talking about.
sure.
That's what we're missing. We just need more love, more community, because it's here. The art
Mhm.
is here. And I do think that, I'm new in the game, kind of. I've been in the game for a little bit, but I'm kind of just like put myself really in
Yep.
it. But it's here and it's alive. It's beautiful too. It's really exciting. There's a
Yeah.
lot of exciting things happening.
That's encouraging to hear, because
Yeah.
as I get older, I'm really digging live music, and I know you're on the live music scene in
Yeah.
different spots around the city. But I think that is, I don't know, I think that's starting to make our city a little unique. I know you can find live music in every city, but like I think that's something we're going to tap into more. I
Yeah.
hope.
Jazz has a huge history here.
Mhm.
Live
Oh,
music, jazz, like it's here. It's in
Mhm.
our streets. And I think a lot of us are just trying to figure out a way to rebirth it again,
Yes,
which is exciting.
I love it. Ari, and you come from a whole different
Mhm.
Yeah.
perspective. You don't sing, you don't rap, but you might play these two artists in your set,
Yeah.
whatever, mixing
Yeah.
in. But how is how is the scene in your eyes? I know it might transition from summer to winter, all these different aspects. Like, how is the scene in your eyes, and what makes it unique?
I think well, there's a couple things. One, it's in my blood. My granddad was known as Pittsburgh's Nat King Cole,
Mm.
and yeah,
And what's
he
his
used to
name?
play- he was part of the Don Wade trio, and his name was Donald Wade.
Oh, that's
Mm.
beautiful.
Yeah, so he played like all around Pittsburgh, and he I have one of his posters signed in my house, like from that era.
That's awesome.
And so, but yeah, no, in terms of just the scene, I think the scene kind of can often overlook DJs.
Mm.
Like we're not really looked at as part of like the music scene.
Mhm.
But
Why is that, do you think?
I think it's because we're looked more at as service
Mhm.
and not like artistry.
Mm.
But there are a lot of DJ artists, but when it comes to the musicians and the like singers and rappers, it can be fragmented. But the ones who are like active and like out and about, like we know who they are, and they
Mhm.
party with us. A lot of them come to my event, other DJs and other artists. So
Right.
yeah, it's like a push and pull sort of thing, and it comes in waves, it comes in seasons. But once a couple of eyes are on you, more eyes seem to kind of congregate after that.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'll say, and I only mentioned it with social media, and that's why I got you guys here. I didn't even mention that to begin with, but we're discussing the music scene. But I have these guests in because they all do social media in their own way, and they do it very well and are very consistent. So that's kind of where we're going today in conversation. But okay, that's interesting. Okay, the DJ is more seen as a service. I can, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I see that. Now, since the scene now are there any trends that you see, not necessarily in Pittsburgh music scene, but just in general, that you are attracted to, or you just want to stay clear from? Anya, I'll start with you. Are there any trends in the music, any currently thriving trends, not only in Pittsburgh, but just music in general that you've noticed, or you want to implement, or you just want to stay away from? I'll start with you.
I try to be really careful about how I present myself on social media because I think it's really easy to get into like acting. And I'm not about that. I don't want to present myself as anybody other than Anya. Um, and I also don't want to come off as robotic. And I think sometimes because musicians nowadays and artists nowadays, like, so social media is our marketing. And people just want to be seen, and I get it.
Right.
But I personally don't want to be seen based upon an idea I'm trying to sell you, but honestly just introducing myself as I am in the most organic way possible. So I see a lot of repetitive trends, like just being posted over and over again. And now those things work. And I'm not knocking nobody's hustle.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't want to be repetitive. I want to be exciting when people see me. Now I do have certain things that I do over and over again, but that's a format that I created. So it's something that when you see it, you know Anya on that red carpet with the mic singing Laying Down. Like, that's Anya. She did that.
Right.
But some of the other things like POV, which I've done a few times and it works, you won't get that every single day from me because I actually don't want people POVing me every single day. But I just try to be as organic as possible. I know what works for me. And it might not be numbers wise what works for me, but in order for me to maintain my sanity and my organic nature, that's what works for me.
I love that. And I don't want to jump ahead, but do you guys have content calendars? Do you guys kind of just like, okay.
I did, for sure.
When it's
Okay.
time to go, definitely.
Yeah. Believe it or not, like I literally just started doing that like in November of 2025. I was kind of sporadic, but 10 years in, I honed in on like every day. This day is archives. This day, so it's a plus. But I'll follow up with with the same question. Not only social, but DJ wise, are there any trends that you see popping up that you're attracted?
I got trends I like, trends I hate, trends. There's like the trends I like are watching artists and people who kind of shun social media start embracing content creating. I think that's a breath of fresh air. I think there's like, you can tell like there's content creators who are there for the sake of content creating and they're just like, they're trying to feed the algorithm and like they attack that as their job. And then there's people who are artists as their job, but in order to adhere to the industry standard, they're on social media. Right. And like watching those people flourish and embrace content, that has been pretty fire. I know there's like the 96ers network. Now they're like specifically there, but they have been releasing some heat.
Yeah.
And they're very inspirational. DJ Motormain inspired me to like really start paying more attention to TikTok and stuff. So there's a lot of there's a lot of people who really are fire at the arts and then they're like embracing and trying to convert what they do onto social media just to see who's like-minded, who's gonna like my stuff. I really like that as a trend.
Yeah, same here. I love to see like people who haven't done it, and I like when they were honest about it. They're like, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then like 2 months later they got their rhythm and they're going. But I've been loving it too. Yeah. It's fun to see because everyone's realizing like I got to be on these platforms to kind of push, whatever I'm trying to push or, my self-brand, whatever. So they're realizing, and it's fun to see, them trial and error with content.
It's cool watching them go back and forth. And the trend that I hate is mashups. I can't do mashups.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's, from the DJ point of things, it's like, I think that can get repetitive. And I think that as a trend, like there's always been mashup artists. Like when I was younger, we would go online and we would find like weird mashups of like Biggie and something,
but beat mashups.
I feel like the barrier to entry was a lot higher, and so there was less of it. But now it's like people they're just going insane, and then Stems kind of got the thing going even more insane. So as a trend, that's one trend that I'm shying away from is like just super mashups and just trying to be more creative and put that stuff out. But
okay, love it. And then.
You mentioned the artist who's really just an artist at heart, not a content creator at heart. Like that's me, basically. Yeah. That's 100% me. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I play the game,
right?
But like you said, finding what works for you. I feel like I have to find what I can feel authentic in myself.
Mhm.
Like, it's all about authenticity for me.
Yeah.
And like a side note, there's just nothing that is sadder. Sometimes you'll come across a video, not even necessarily music related, but you see someone on social media and you're like, that's hilarious. And then you click their profile and their entire life is just them making that same video
Right.
over and over.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I don't want to be that. I don't
Right.
want to do that. I don't want to be, I don't want it to dictate my life.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that is you have to walk that line between letting it dictate you and, letting it help you in your path. So for me, it's finding that balance. I definitely try to find stuff that like I feel okay doing, and it's all about just finding what works and finding a cool idea. I don't really like following trends. When there's a hot song that's on everyone's thing and it'll boost you in the algorithm, I don't even do that stuff. I don't care about that.
Let me ask you to piggyback on like, so as far like I'm interested to hear, because what I do is kind of just like is I can just have content for days.
Oh, definitely.
With artists like you guys, it's like how do you stay consistent in between things? So it's like, you dropped a new album.
Yeah. I say that's the area I have to work on the most, if I'm being honest. Like I feel like I'm really good at, putting everything together for like a rollout. But then it's that in between time where like I want to go be creative or go be a dad. I also own a business and I don't have time to think about making an Instagram or a TikTok video every single day. And that's okay. You can bank content and you can have it come out. But like, it's those are times where I disappear a little bit sometimes. And like, if I'm being truthful and honest, like those that's probably the area I should work on the most.
Do you think it hurts going away a little bit?
It can, but it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it hurts. Like, I'm sure as a content creator, it hurts, but to me and my value of my life, I feel like it's necessary.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel hip hop artists, they have the privilege to do that.
Yeah,
They can like,
be mysterious or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
fed the streets, and then I'm gonna go
peace.
back and work some more. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how about you? Like, how do you find that?
Well, I really appreciate what you said about like
Thank
it might hurt the algorithm or hurt my follow count or whatever, but it doesn't hurt me. Like
Right.
it gives me peace. I get
sure.
that.
Mhm.
I think what has been really important for me in my content creation journey is sharing my story. And when I'm not recording or when I don't have a gig or if I'm not making an album or promoting an album, my story is I'm walking my dog. Or my story is I'm chilling and I just got some new flowers today, or I'm at church, or I'm with my family. And I share that because I also, like, again, I want people to, yes, experience me as Anya Nancy, but I also want people to experience me as Anya. And I want people to also fall in love with the human that's behind the music. So in the in-between time, I just continue to share my story and what I'm doing and what music is inspiring me that day, whether it be like organic dumps or, I mean, truthfully, and y'all know, like, even if we're not working, we're still working.
Right.
Like, we still got stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I just try to share those. And I also, like, I'm okay with not saying anything, too. Like, I'm okay with going under the radar sometimes, and it may have been a week since I posted, but like,
You don't feel that
are
feel
y'all
that pressure.
good?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
if y'all see me, y'all see me. And if
Mhm.
not, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't want to fake it. Like, there's a lot of life actually going on beyond social media. So
And before I get to you, I want to ask another question on that. Would you, because you guys love life, you guys got real lives, family and everything like that. But like, so what? For me personally, I don't have that yet. Like, but so I have a freedom to document kind of everything now. Would you feel comfortable in adding that? Like you said, you add stories, with your family and stuff like that, with your dog and flowers. But would you ever create content out of your real life? Like, BD's taking his
Daughter.
daughter.
I'm very private about that
Okay,
stuff, to be
got
honest.
you.
Just to interject, like her face has never been on social media. Not
Yeah, I
even,
didn't
like-
know until today.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. A lot of people don't know. I have a kid and a wife, so it's like, but that's like that's my happy place away from that.
Got
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I mean, my wife is on social media. Like she makes music and she has TikTok and posts videos and stuff. It's not like, we're completely separated from that or
Right.
something. But you know, that's just something that I don't want to subject her to that, especially with, you know, we don't have to get into all this the weird stuff about how AI and the direction things could be headed with that. So
For sure.
but you know, I keep her off of social media. I've had her on there with her face covered for like, you know, like you kind of said, like telling a story. You know, I had a song, I did a short video for it where I was talking about being a father, just you know, like a father journey type of story. And I did have some photos of like her sitting with me, but her face was blurred.
Covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's almost 4 now, so you know now she's running around talking. So like, you know, we're gonna
Keep her off.
keep her away from that,
I
yeah,
dig
as
it.
long as possible.
Respect it.
Yeah.
How about you, Ari? Well, I've actually seen you. I've seen the hustle in between. Like you said, you know, you DJ all year round, but it's just like on the social aspect. You know, how do you stay consistent in between? Because you know, obviously summer and spring and like, you know, it's more activity. But how do you stay consistent in your social media presence in the meantime?
Yeah, this year I actually like made a plan about being more consistent,
Mm.
and it started with having different pillars. And I think you touched on it earlier, like with some of the calendar that you
Right.
do, where
Mhm.
you're like, all right, like this could be from the archives today. I haven't gone quite that deep,
Yeah.
but one pillar I have is just like YouTube mixes. So if I record a YouTube mix, be 30 minutes, I can get 7 clips off that. That immediately is a week worth of posting.
Yeah.
And it's like cheap and easy.
Mhm.
And I may not post that every day. Sometimes I might do a talking head. So I'm coming out and talking about
Right.
like maybe some music that I listened to recently, or an album that I recently listened to. A big thing for me right now is getting new music into parties and the club scene and stuff. And so I talk about like new albums that come out, and like songs from a DJ's point of view of like what you could throw in at a party, and like hopefully that encourages a DJ to grab some of these songs and like throw them into their practice session and just see what works.
Yeah.
Another pillar is the actual events that I do.
Yeah.
So I might have like a videographer come out. We always have photography. So then there's posts that come from that. So it's like
And is that coming out of your pot? Like, are you paying the?
yes and no. So
Because I feel like people
terms
don't
of-
notice. Sorry to cut you off. My bad. I feel like people don't notice. That's what it takes sometimes. Like the
Yeah.
sacrifice of like, I want to take all this bread home, but like I also want to document it. So
yeah.
I got to pay the I got to pay a photographer so that I can look good and get more gigs and stuff like
So,
that.
Yeah. So Slappers and Bangers, like it depends on the event. So like, usually the event
Right.
will pay for a photographer, and then I will get the photos and then I can
Gotcha.
post them. Slappers and Bangers, even though it's my party, we kind of operate separately, so that like Ari Cole is sort of like a Deadpool type, where like you could see me at Dick's Sporting Goods,
Right.
you can see me at Slappers and Bangers, you can see me at a nonprofit event, or you can see me under a bridge. Like I go everywhere. But then Slappers and Bangers is very focused. It's hip hop, R&B, trap music, and that focus, and also the partnership. I was partnered with Neil with that one, and then now it's a project between me and Golden.
Yeah.
So it functions as its own entity, and so Slappers and Bangers pays for photos at SMB,
Right.
and then I can post them, or obviously it's my party, so I'll collab post with
Yep.
SMB. So yeah, it just depends. And then the practice space that I have that allows me to record and post out of there, I pay for that,
Right.
but it's worth it because it allows me to stay consistent. I have a practice space, I have storage for my gear. It serves
Exactly.
like so many purposes.
And just to be clear, like not under a bridge, just him by himself. They threw a Slappers and Bangers
Yeah.
under a bridge. So
Yeah.
Jumping.
But
Jumping.
yeah,
it
like,
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see me like everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
But SMB is only once a month and does certain things. So yeah.
Beautiful. Anya, let me ask you this. So I'm gonna ask everybody, but I feel compelled to ask Anya first. So this is outside of social media. Take me through like your creative process, you know, as a writer when writing music and you know, producing music, you know. Well, like tell me through that process of is it you writing everything? Is it collaboration? Like, what's your process like in the studio or at the coffee shop writing music? Like, what's the process like?
Well,
Is it like,
yes,
yeah,
I do write all my music.
yeah,
I do. Um,
no disrespect.
no, I don't knock songwriters.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would love to get into that, writing music for other people and with other people. Like that hustle is a thing within itself. But currently, it was really important to me that I wrote all the songs on my first album because I wanted to tell my story. If you haven't noticed, like storytelling is kind of a theme for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's either I hear something that inspires me. I listen to a lot of music. Like Autumn Blues is a track on my album. It came from me listening to a Sarah Vaughan song, and she sung this melody. And I was in the car, I was driving, and I immediately just thought about how I was feeling that day. And I turned it off, and I just picked up my voice memo on my phone, and I just started singing. And then I sent it to my MD, Owen Duganbacha, and he composed to it. But then like Count With Me is different because I produced by myself on a Tuesday. Like these calendars really help. Tuesdays and
Yeah.
Thursdays were my days to like write and produce. And it was one of those mornings, and I produced the track for Count With Me, and then I put the lyrics down, and that kind of was that. It depends. It depends
Right.
where I'm at. It depends on what I'm going through, where I'm at physically, if I have my computer in front of me, if I have access to my phone, if I have access to my notepad or a napkin on the table.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm inspired by everything. Movies, life, people, music.
Movies are big for me.
Yeah, I'm a visual and audible person. And I read a lot
Yeah.
recently.
Mhm.
So stories that I'm reading really inspire me. So yeah.
And BD, I'm gonna ask you the same thing because I feel like, pop culture kind of like not just. I feel like you're really tapped into pop culture and
For sure.
like just what you like specifically. Like,
Yeah.
what's your process of of writing and
Inspiration can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, it's sporadic.
Mhm.
And like being that I am a business owner and do make my own schedule, I mean, that I'm pretty busy a lot of the time, but it allows me the ability to make my own schedule and be available. And the best thing I can do is try to just be available when creativity strikes. So
I like
like
that.
you
I
don't
like
know when
that a
it's
lot.
going to happen. And if you got to be at work at 9 and
Yeah.
it strikes you at 8, too bad.
Right.
You got to go to work.
Uh-huh.
But like if you're able to be available when creativity's calling, and sometimes that's sitting in my car, listening to beats
Yeah.
and writing, and like, maybe those don't even turn into songs, but they just, form into other ideas that'll be down the line, turn into songs. And then sometimes I'm allowed the luxury to just be at my home studio. So that's the best thing for me is having a home studio. I started recording at home in 2018.
Wow.
And, I've, other than like 1 or 2 appearances that I did, I've recorded everything at that home studio.
I love that.
Since then, which is like hundreds of songs. And, sometimes I sit down, I don't even know what's happening on the song. I'm just going to figure it out and, may like freestyle it a little bit, go back. Okay, this is actually going to be this now. And I'll literally not even write anything down on a piece of paper, just kind of like form the idea and stop and start until it's a finished idea and maybe just rewrap the whole thing afterwards. Other times it's all pre-written, premeditated and practiced and everything. And I mean, you just got to be available for it. That's my mantra or whatever,
We're gonna clip that up. I love that. And I'm assuming it's the same thing for you. I mean, like it's kind of like you hear a song, you're like, yeah, I know what I'm gonna mix that with. Like this is they ain't never heard this before.
Right.
Is it kind of the same?
It's
What?
basically that.
Yeah.
Like, I have like a running Spotify folder.
Mm,
If I'm
mhm.
out, I hear a song, it goes straight in the folder.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I have like even at the practice space, like I'm always just like singing other songs while a current song is going on, just seeing like what works, what can I play around with, where can we go with it. I think some of the best DJs just like they have so many different skill sets. They can remix a song by like doing tone play,
Mhm.
or they can remix it by beat juggling, or they can remix it by using cue points and going from different points of the song to make a new melody, and then that meshes with the current song. There's just so many different ways. You're
Yeah.
just running through all these ideas. You just have to get your hands on the turntables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me. I love it. I love you guys' answer. Let me ask. This is for all of y'all. So, and BD, you mentioned it at the beginning about it's kind of fractured. Like,
Sorry to start it out with negativity.
No.
I
That's
felt
not
bad. I'm like, oh man. She's like, yeah, but I'm gonna take that and put a positive spin on it.
But it's true.
But
no, it is. That's how I feel. That's my heart for
Yeah,
sure.
I think all artists in the city can relate
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that.
no doubt.
Absolutely.
But that's what. So how important is collaboration? Like, is it like, how is important? How important is it? Like, I know we all kind of do individual
For
things,
sure.
but like,
For sure.
is it important? Like, is it like, do you like
most definitely?
Yeah.
Most definitely. I personally love creating alone because
Mhm.
it helps me just block out the noise of the world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's just my personal opinion. But then again, you're only gonna find so many ideas alone. Like two heads are better than one sometimes. Like working with DJs specifically, a DJ brain is going to hear something that my artist brain might not hear. So like all the DJs I've worked with over the years, have given me invaluable ideas, just because they're looking and hearing music differently. They interact with it differently. So collaboration is key for sure.
Mhm.
How about you guys? Do you feel, collaboration is key with, local art, not even just local
Yeah.
artists, but just,
Yeah, collaboration's key. I think some sort of media is key too. So you talk about the fracture, it's like there's no like one stop for just Pittsburgh, hip hop Pittsburgh, music Pittsburgh. There's no like one stop that like reliably covers people from the come up to just like,
Yeah.
citywide notoriety.
yeah.
And I think there's not a lot of money in that, which is a problem. But also, when we had publications like this, there wasn't a lot of money in it. These were like passion projects and stuff.
Mhm.
But we do live in record inflation and all that stuff. So who knows? But I don't know. I think the fracture comes where people just don't know where to go. One person could tell you that the best DJ in the city is some person who DJs at a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And that person has like a multitude of people who really believe that. And there is no like place for us to see it or prove it. There's no, coverage of, oh, like this person has been doing this. This person has a big event. This person,
Yeah.
competed in a national competition and ranked nationally, which happened here. We
Yeah.
had a DJ ranked nationally in the A-Tracks competition. We had a DJ go over to Cleveland
Right.
Mhm.
and win a competition. You'd think we'd love to cover that, like
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the fracture definitely comes. It comes from the landscape, but also just like the media coverage and just how we talk about who's here.
Right. And I think we're moving towards, like, I think it's the coverage a little bit. Like you mentioned the 96ers as far as hip hop and freestyles, and like, I love that. Like, I don't know if you guys follow Hot 97. They're going through a big transition over there in New York. And like, I see it because I'm on YouTube a lot, but I love that they're like giving all these local New York artists, having them come up freestyle like it's the 90s again. So like, and they're adapting to the social media client. They might only have 200 views. It's hard to, it's wild to see like a Hot 97 platform with so little views, but it's just like, it's so new. But I love that they're tapping into like these New York artists that I have no clue who they are if it wasn't for these little freestyle clips on their YouTube channel. But like, to your point, I think it's, more podcasts like this and like 96ers and, you were just on Talk Pittsburgh. I think it's just like, using the network and then just, having more platforms to tell people what we're doing, so I think it's coming though. I think as we, even a show like this, just taking in charge. Oh, I can start my own podcast and have da. I think it's just going to keep coming and keep coming. And we mentioned it after this. You know, Beatty might have a podcast and interview. You know, just like it just works like
Don't
that.
count on it.
Me and my daughter. But yeah, I think it's going to be more media outlets. You know, highlighting what's going on.
I think
here.
the infrastructure hasn't been built. So
Right.
since that fracture, in my viewpoint, has happened, the landscape's changed, and it is a lot more media centric. Whereas before, you know, it might be like, you know, I mean, you know, this is everywhere in the world, in
Right.
every industry. It's, you know, social media has taken over. So
Yeah.
you know, it's the infrastructure hasn't necessarily been built yet. But like you said, like, you know, we have these, you know, networks and you know, things that are building right now, man.
Yeah.
So
You might have touched on it, but what is some of the challenges or the biggest challenge you have with content creation?
the challenges,
Yeah.
I mean, I like I said before, like staying consistent in like the off season,
Right,
the
okay.
off season meaning like when I don't have a current project, and like that's something, you know, because I don't have a manager, I don't have a team, like I do everything myself. I edit my own videos, I do all
Wow.
of my own stuff. I mean, you know, sometimes I'll get a music video edited
Yeah.
and filmed and stuff, but like all the stuff you see on Instagram, like when I put on that wrestling suit, the muscle costume, I sourced all of those things. I bought
Yeah.
them. I bought the green screen. I had my boy film it
Yep.
and, you know, cut it on CapCut or whatever, you know, put the background on there.
And that's the beauty. Like
You got to do that. Like we all have the access to that.
Yeah.
these
right.
days,
And
you know?
and like I just feel like that is there's no excuse. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, of course you have
Time,
to,
effort,
yeah, you have
but
to pay for the studio in your crib. You have to pay
Yeah.
for the
16 years ago, I had like a Canon PowerShot, one of those little rectangle silver
yeah.
cameras from years prior to that. 16 years ago in 2010, I was making content, filming it, cutting it on iMovie and putting it on YouTube.
Yep.
There was no band, like none of these platforms, like, you know, even before Twitter, even before Facebook had capabilities to upload video.
right.
And like, you know, there was certainly no HD, there was no 4K on
No.
YouTube. So like, you know, those videos still exist, but they were like vlog, day in the life type of things. That was,
Yeah.
if I had these platforms when I was, you know, however old I was back then, you know, early 20s, you know, being able to put this content
Yeah.
all around, you know, there's a lot more available
Mhm.
tools at your disposal.
It's an
today.
amazing
Yeah.
time. It's an amazing time to be an
Mhm.
artist or create.
Yeah, I
Like-
think I think it's also the barrier to entry kind of went down at one
Mhm,
point on
for sure.
on social media. Like it was about your polish. It was almost we kind of went through an arms race from like the beginning of social media to maybe a couple years ago. But now that we're in this like post everyday
Mhm.
sort of era, it's okay for it to be less polished. People are just like talking real quick and posting that and just getting it up. So I think that like that part has made it very encouraging. It's like, okay, I don't have to learn how to be an editor.
Right.
I could literally just make it talking for a minute and just
Mhm.
leaving it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anya, what strategies have you found most effective to, you know, build that audience? You say you like to be very authentic, but what have you found, you know, most effective in, you know, cultivating the audience and engaging with
I
your
think,
audience?
like I said before, bringing people along for your journey, but being strategic about it too. Like I know we talked about those calendars, like figuring out, okay, today I'm going to give like a hint at what's coming. Then I'm going to give a little bit more, and then I'm going to give the whole storyline, and then I'm going to give the exact same story again, formatted just a little bit differently,
Mm.
just in case somebody missed it.
And I think that comes from your movie watch. Like, not to cut you
Yes,
out. I think
yes,
because I noticed it, I'm like, oh, this is like a movie, and it just naturally,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I have to shout out Saya Brown. She was my campaign manager for the album.
Mm.
And she really helped me figure out what I had in my mind and the vision that I had for the rollout and put it down on paper or an Excel sheet that was our content calendar. And I think that has helped. That has worked, being consistent to a certain level. Of course, I don't think I was posting every day, but I think I was posting like maybe 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And staying consistent in that, and staying consistent in the storytelling and making it a journey.
Mhm.
Like allowing opportunity for people to want more and to be curious. And honestly, the answer would be found in the music. So if they're curious about like, oh, we're talking about this. I know when I released Count With Me, my first single, and that was my very first single, the only thing I've ever dropped. And I wanted it to be like, okay, this is something that I just wrote. It was easy, like 1, 2, 3. What is she talking about? Okay, let me go listen to the actual song. So providing questions that can only be answered by actually listening to the music. And that's the goal, right? As artists or as producers of events, like you want to propose a question and the answer has to be found in what it is you're selling. And that has really worked for me. So as organic as it is, it's still incredibly strategic.
Right.
And that has
Yeah,
worked.
it's gotta
That
be.
has worked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, how about you? So, like, how did you, you know, what strategy have you found most effective? Like you said, you've been talking more in the camera and giving your
Yeah.
opinion on, other artists or, DJs you should listen to. Like, has that been working, or what other things have you found effective to cultivate that
The most
audience?
effective thing is just like throwing stuff out there.
Yeah.
I was watching, who is it? A Damn Killer. That dude. I said his name like somebody's gonna recognize him. But like he does these like really wacky TikToks to promote his music,
Okay.
and I do think he's kind of pigeonholed himself
Mm.
to a place where like he has to keep the wacky up.
Nah.
But he said this one piece of information that like really helped me. He was like, may as well just post every day or post multiple times a day because that's the only way that you're gonna figure out what works and what doesn't.
Right.
And he was like, you'll never figure out what works and what doesn't just like not posting anything. You're not gonna like wake up and get it right. You just have to post it, let that thing get 100 views, let it
Right.
yeah, and then just see
Yeah.
what you could do better. And that's really helped me stay consistent. And like, days when I don't feel like posting or days when I don't feel like doing something, it's like, okay, the point is consistency. Like even this like throwaway that I'm about to post, like I can learn how to do better throwaways from it or more throwaways from it, or like how to make bulk throwaways and then schedule those out or like keep them tucked for a rainy day. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. Just like learning from that piece of information, that advice. Just throw stuff out there. If you don't throw it out there, you're not gonna learn what does well.
Right.
Yeah.
And BD, I feel like you have, I'm not figured out, but like I feel like you as far as your audience and what they want, who they want to hear, like who they want to hear, which view. Like I feel like you've kind of like, I don't know, I'm sure but like, have you figured it out? I feel like you figured out what your audience wants and how you've cultivated them. Yeah.
I'm glad it seems that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, really, I try to have like a good understanding of myself, and like I mean, I've been doing it so long that picking features and stuff like that. Like obviously, like I know what I'm trying to market myself as, but as far as like specific post styles, I mean, I think it's a gamble every time.
Yeah.
I think just trying, like you said, as much stuff as possible and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, something's gonna stick.
Yeah.
And then kind of just keep following that and branch out from there.
And I
That's
think
kinda that's how I've approached most things. But
and I think it works for you guys because I think I think I know Ari the most out of everyone, but I feel like people really like you guys. Like I think that's a big factor too. Like people genuinely like you, even if you are. It's just like no one feels weird or no one is like, oh, I ain't trying to sell me your album. Oh, I'll be trying to sell me this limited edition, vinyl. It's just like I feel like it never comes across that way because people know you're authentic and they know
we're not trying too hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, try
And,
hard
like,
is no good. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, yo, I'll buy. I know they're trying to sell me something, but yeah, like I know who this person is somewhat from their, social media persona and what I listen to in their music and see them on stage. But I feel like people genuinely like you guys, so it makes it a little bit easier. But they like you because of what you show on social media as well, outside of your close friends and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's what makes your social media, what do you call it? Your social media presence so easy. And and seamless. But
The realness always shines through. For sure.
mhm.
So they can tell, anyone can tell. I mean, maybe not anyone, but if you're not being authentic, it is clear.
Yeah.
So
And if you're authentic and can do social media somewhat well, it's like it's out of here. It's
Yeah.
like, you really,
Yeah.
you can really gain that base of what you guys have. So, Anya, I'm going to ask you. So, how have live performances contributed to your marketing efforts and audience growth? Have you seen the effects of your live performance and then that translating to over to social media and album sales and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, I think people want to know that you can do what you say you can do.
Mhm.
And as a vocalist, people might be like, yeah, I like her fit, or yeah, that's a cute background, but like, can she actually sing?
Mhm.
And providing opportunities for people to come see me do
Mhm.
what I do is really important. And sometimes, there'll be people who just happen to be at Con Alma
Right.
and just happen to be there and then follow me on Instagram and keep up with me that way. Or it could be the opposite. Like I just ran into a girl at Trader Joe's or maybe Whole Foods. I was sick this week. I looked a mess. I had a hoodie on. I literally was like not trying to see nobody.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Do you sing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. But it's not me today." Like, it's not. She's like, "I saw you on Instagram," and I was like, "Dang, that's fantastic!" Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to see like what I threw at the wall, stuck
Mhm.
at least with somebody,
Yeah.
and I might see her at my next show. You know
Right.
what I mean? And also like Saya used to tell me like post when you gig because you have to also again like prove to people or not prove but share with people that you actually do what you say that you do. Like I'm
Mhm.
not just somebody who's trying to do something. I'm somebody who's actually
Right.
doing the thing. In those performance clips, like if you got a cute dress on and
Yeah.
it's the right vibe and you pick the right clip, like those posts can really go.
Mhm.
And that's cool too, because again, like people want to know that you do what you say that you do and do it well. So
That's a
yeah,
fact.
yeah, it's fun too.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Ari, how about you, man? Like how I'm I'm sure you've seen the benefits of, your live performances, but how does that contribute to your marketing and audience growth?
Yeah, the live performances and a good videographer
Man.
sends my algorithm to the roof. Shout out Rough Bone, Jay Visionary,
Oh yeah.
and JM. Yeah, no, so whenever we do an SMB, we get the edits back and they
they do all the work.
off.
Yeah.
They go off. That and a good promo reels for events. So like when I collaborated with the Carnegie Museum and we did the that routine, it was a couple years ago. It was with Nicki Minaj and Lil Uzi Vert's Everybody, and I mixed it with this like SoundCloud edit of like another song, and that one went off too. So it just the higher quality stuff really works, and like you said, letting people know that you are actually good at your job.
Mhm.
And yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
And someone who can show people that you're good at your job helps
Right.
a lot too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and BD, I know like the live hip hop scene here is like is not the highest, right? Or
it's definitely not. We have a too small of a market for a lot of the more expensive artists to make it work. So they do Sunday shows.
yeah.
Like you'll see a lot of people coming in and they'll be in Pittsburgh on a Sunday because that's not as high of paying of a day. And like you have to justify how many people are going to come to the show, how many people can fit in this venue in order to, like, as a promoter,
Right.
in order to justify how much you're paying this artist. So we're too small of a market
Yeah.
to get a lot of the artists who are in between doing the big shows and one of these smaller venues.
Well, how about you? Like as far as your like how's it been for you as far as
I
these
mean,
last couple of years?
it's always hit or miss.
Yeah.
It's always hit or miss for sure. I mean, locally, when it's like local shows, locally thrown shows, it could be jumping, it could be empty.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
So it's really a gamble every time. And even these, I mean, the best sometimes the best shows are opening. Like I did, a show opening for Boldy recently, and those type of shows sometimes are the best because like the people are really there to see an artist they love. They're more open to, if you're really gonna tear it up and put a good show on, they're gonna be impressed. You can sell your music there. If you have vinyl or CDs or whatever, T-shirts available, and you can make genuine connections because like the best type of connections, like you were saying, is still always going to be in person. So you can get that person to really be invested in you, invested in your story more so when they saw you do it and they're like, oh, like that was a special thing that I really personally experienced, and now I'm invested in this person's growth and story.
And like you said earlier, just being available for the opportunity, because like you could have these opening performances and be in these positions, but you might not have the merch. You might not you might not be prepared for the moment. And that those things,
if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's like, like that. Those little things make the difference. Like, you was performing for a boat. You got merch, and that's how they wear that shirt to get a cup of coffee every morning. Who knows? But it's just like you with them in their lives, and that's how they remember you if you just come prepared.
For sure. And we're social creatures as people. So like when you have those edits, that's there's people coming to those events and it's crazy. It's going crazy. So automatically that's gonna like awaken the dopamine or whatever when you view that and be like, oh, that looks insane. I want to be at that party. Look at all these people having a good time. That's proof of concept right there. Like these people are having fun. It's real. That's real. Now I want to be a part of that too. So
that's how it works. Just,
I have a shameless. Speaking of being prepared with merch, I brought you something.
Let's go.
I brought you something.
Look at this. Live merch exchanges. See, this is how you do it. Social media people, you bring gifts to the host.
Did you bring everybody something before?
Just chance. We didn't have.
Sorry, y'all. Just for the boy.
Just for my guy.
Thank
we
you.
just started the Slobbers and Bangers shop. And so you could order that online and at events.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna need this. Thank you, man.
No problem.
Lighter is underrated. I don't mean to cut your wisdom. Lighter is an underrated promotional tool. I had those so long ago, and like every time someone put you got a light, pull it out, and like physically look at that. Especially, now you could have a QR code, whatever website on there, anything. It's how many times have you lost a lighter? So I used to get rid of those. Like I ordered like 400 lighters, and I think it was 2012. I had them, and I used to just purposely lose them. No, not even. I'd be like, just somebody needs a lighter. I'll just hand it out, and never ask for it back.
That's smart.
Just kind of let them guerrilla their way around. Guerrilla market their way around. So
for us, smokers, you might need it for that. So look, now that we're here, I want to ask you this because you were able to drop your first album, and then you got a grant for that album to produce and everything like that. So funding opportunities and grants, how did that come about? How does that of course it's helped you, but how has that helped you?
Oh my God, it was a deal. Having funds, like you can have an idea, but if you don't have the funds to support your idea, it makes things very difficult. And I think that's part of the fracture that we're talking about here. Like we just don't have, a lot of people just don't have the funds to make what they want happen, and also done well. But advancing Black arts, I just kept my ears peeled to the streets. Like I just wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know who was sending money. If I saw the word grant, I was on it. Like,
and it's you write in the grants, or is it? Oh wow,
yes,
wow.
And you actually, this is a plug. Like, if you get a Google Doc sheet together and you just put your answers for every question that you have seen, or if you get your bio out, you could just go and just start plugging it in to different grants, and you could just kind of just like shoot them out.
Wow.
Because there's so many people who want to give, especially Black folks, money nowadays. Like if you were an artist and you have an idea that can be felt through paper, then throw it out there and see what sticks. But the Advancing Black Arts grant, it funded my entire album.
Do you mind? Do you mind if we say how much? Is that?
Well, you can get anywhere between 25 grand to 50 grand. Now you can imagine how much an album costs.
Yeah, and you got the max too. Yeah.
And I'm grateful.
And it shows with the production.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. I worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
I really did. So it made all the difference. So yeah.
Yeah.
It is expensive to put an album
So
together the right way, for
expensive.
sure.
Yeah.
And
Did
there
you get
hit
grants or anything like
I've
that?
never had a grant.
Okay, yeah.
I operated because I've been doing this for almost 20 years, like you said, and I kind of had two separated stages. The way I think about my music career or my music, whatever you want to call it, is my first stage, and then I stopped making music for a couple years, and then during that time I started a landscaping company, landscaping and snow removal.
Yeah.
Just to keep it a buck. That's what I do.
Never
what
going out of business.
I never thought that I would do that. I never thought, but like one day, I was just in my feels and was just like, I don't want to. Whatever. I just didn't feel like I was on the right path, right? And it was showing through my music and showing through my creativity. If the foundation's not good, then the building's gonna topple over, right? So I worked on that foundation and found a way to do it myself, and really only came back to making music for fun. And I was like, I got a little money now, like whatever. I'm not broke, at least back then. I was thinking that, and I was like, maybe I'll make another album, and I just kind of did one, and then it turned into two, and it turned into three, and then, here we are. It's been, I don't know, almost 9 years since I started back up.
Wow. Yeah.
And I've done a lot more in the second half than I did the first half, but not having to rely on trying to find a dollar has been very helpful.
Yeah.
So in the first half of my, music making, I was trying to get a record deal or find a way to make this my career.
Right.
And, I realized after a while, and this is not going to be everybody's choice or the right move for them, but for me, that's what it was. It was like, that's going to affect the way I make music if I'm thinking about how to make a dollar off of it. And I'm going to say, oh, I got to do stuff like this, or I got to do whatever. And then it's not going to be your authentic, true self. After a while, you're going to make a sacrifice. It's going to lead you on a different path than another sacrifice. And then eventually you're going to not recognize the reason you began. So, having the luxury, I'm going to call it a luxury, because I work hard as fuck at my job, you know what I mean? So building that business has allowed me the luxury to not have to make choices for money. I don't do things that a lot of rappers have to do to pay for beats and stuff like that. I don't have to ask for favors. I don't have to, if we're collaborating, we're collaborating. I'm very generous with the people that I collaborate with. We split all the money and or I'll pay for things outright. Right. And it's expensive. It really is, so not having to worry about that is, I feel like, elevated my creativity for sure.
Damn.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
And,
great.
and I know that is the key, just the funds to create. Just the funds for the freedom to create. And or have you got any grants or for slappers or just anything?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I got a grant during the pandemic. There was like a emergency artist grant.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have not gotten any grants yet. I still need to start really attacking, applying and stuff. Most of my stuff
Me
is
too.
like self-funded,
Yeah.
which like has really built the muscle of production, just like churning things out. But I'd love to like start applying for grants and like, get to that.
Cool. Now, we're gonna wrap this up here. This time flew by. So let me ask you guys. This is a open question. Anybody can answer first, whoever. But what advice would you give to new or aspiring independent artists trying to make it in Pittsburgh or beyond? Anything?
I feel like there was a lot of gems that were said throughout the
1000%.
last hour for
Yeah.
sure. Find what works for you, and just see what happens. But you got to try. You gotta probably fail a few times
No doubt.
to really get it right. And then just do what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content out there that is gonna help you along too. I was thinking about this when I was driving over here. Is like there's so much content. I get it as a creator. I get it in my algorithm all the time. They're like, this is what you need to be doing to have the,
Right.
make a Snapchat for the beginning and then make it a music video and then you're gonna grasp it. There's
Yep.
and it's always changing. The
Yeah.
landscape's always changing. So stay up to date. Look for what's working for people,
Right.
and find your version of that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I read this book. I can't remember the author's name, but it was like Steal Like an Artist. And like just like you don't have like it's gonna be trends, but just kind of like what can I take to kind of put my twist on it and anything like that. But oh yeah, how about you? I know, like you said, we said a lot of you guys
Yeah.
dropped a lot of gems in
Gems,
this
man.
thing, and I think people are really gonna benefit from it. But like anything specific.
I think that's great advice. Like, just figure out what works for you and keep trying. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
When I first started making this album, I also have now. I'm sure my at-home studio is nothing like yours, but
Mine ain't much. I promise you. I have a Apollo. I don't mean to cut you
No,
off. I have
that's
an
cool.
Apollo. It's a really nice compressor. I got a cheap mic. That's it.
Yeah.
I got no booth. Just sit there. Just bloop.
And let me just
It
say,
works for me though.
it's amazing that you guys have your own. Like I'm
You
sure
have
you
to.
save so much. You got to go to the studio and pay however much that costs. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, and just the comfort of your own home, just to
Yeah.
record. I'm sure it brings a
To
different
flesh out
level.
ideas.
Yeah.
Well, because my album it's live instrumentation,
Right.
so my entire band was in a room. I did not record my album at home. There's
Right.
no way. Jazz can't really be recorded at home, which is a hurdle, but also a luxury as well, because live music is expensive, but it also is something really sweet to experience. And if it costs something, then I'm willing to invest in it because of how important it is. But going back to your question, I think. Oh, what was I saying? Okay, so at my at-home studio, I
Yeah.
put a little picture and it says "Prepare to suck,"
Mm.
and that really helped me. I was like, I'm gonna suck, and that's okay because make it exist first. Like, don't wait until it's perfect, or
Right.
don't wait to post that thing
Mhm.
until it's like the highest quality or the thing that you think will sell. Put out that thing and make it exist first, and then figure out what do you like about it, what do you not like about it. Because what was most important to me with this music is I wanted to make something that I was proud of.
Right.
And if I was proud of it, then I was good with it. And I would advise any artist, any person who wants to get into media or has something to sell, just make sure that you are proud of it first.
Sure.
And if you are, then actually anybody else's opinion doesn't really matter, because you can only ride for your stuff as hard as
No,
you.
yeah, nobody will unless you feature
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And yeah, be organic with it.
Yeah.
Don't pretend to be anybody else. I think we all were created special.
Mhm.
And everybody has something in them that is uniquely them. So don't shy away from those things that might be weird or might be quirky, or the one thing that you might hate about yourself. Or, I feel like hate is a strong word, but like the one thing that's just like, this makes me less qualified. I think we all have something within ourselves that make us highly qualified,
Facts.
and our stories deserve to be told. So
Yeah, I agree, and I think it sounds harsh, but I think you're doing a disservice to like
absolutely.
God if you don't
Absolutely.
do what you're supposed to be doing, because I can't put sentences together, let alone put like things that rhyme together, and like I can't find the beat placement to like I wouldn't even know, and well, obviously I sing like I can't sing basically, so yeah, I just feel like but I can shoot, I can do photography. That's
Yeah.
if you're doing a disservice to humanity if you're not doing what you're called to do. I truly believe that.
You don't know who needs it. You
Right.
don't know. You
Yeah.
don't know. And people might look at your work and be like, wow, Pittsburgh's actually a dope place because of this guy that shoots Pittsburgh in such an
sure.
awesome and unique way. People might say Pittsburgh is boring,
Yeah.
but when they see Slappers and Bangers, they're like, oh, like this is dope, or be inspired by your music. And my dad, he runs a landscaping company. So it's really cool to hear that, you're a rapper and a dad and a business owner. Like you never know
Are we about
what
to
your
have church in here?
no.
Okay,
Sorry, I ain't come here for that. But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know who you're inspiring with your gift.
Seriously,
So
100%.
yeah, it's
Love it.
important.
All right, how about you? Any last advice?
Yeah, I would recommend prioritizing art and learning the basics of whatever your craft is, taking your time, being prepared to suck, and just like hone that craft. You can even document your journey as you do it.
Yep.
But I think social media, if you feed too much into it, you think you need results very fast.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of people who get social media results before they can perform in the real world. And yeah, you just need to make, if you want longevity, you got to make sure that those two dynamics are scaled correctly. I mean, only you know what the correct proportions are, but yeah, chasing that art first and making sure that even if you're not documenting it, you're like honing in on that craft.
Mhm.
If you do two crafts, hone in on the two crafts. But yeah, that's gonna be the thing, because you can convert your social media presence into outside dollars if you're still an expert,
Right.
But if you stink at your job, but you're just good at it on social media, then you only go so far.
Mm-hmm. Damn, this has been awesome. Before we get out of here, or I'm gonna start with you. Just any upcoming projects. Tell the people your ats on social media. But yeah, anything coming up or anything like that.
Yeah, so you can follow me at the Ari _Cole on Instagram, Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and SoundCloud. And then if you could check out Slappers and Bangers, that's my event. That's hip hop, R&B, trap music. We have a big event coming up for the draft. If this is out before then,
Yeah.
we have the
Yeah,
Roxy Theater, which is like miles away from where the draft is actually being held. And then check out Flux. Flux is my event that's the house music and dance music version of SMB. And it's very important to me because house music is a Black genre. There are a lot of great Black DJs who play house here. There aren't a lot of great Black house events here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, check out Flux, check out Slappers and Bangers, and let's dance together. Let's
Love it.
Yeah, let loose.
Let loose, Anya.
Yeah, I'm Anya Nancy on all streaming platforms. I have a lot of exciting things coming out. I don't think I've shared, but my vinyl is being pressed like as we speak, which is so dope.
That's awesome.
I have an EP coming out, which I haven't announced yet,
Mhm.
but be on the lookout for that.
Oh, first time
Yeah,
announcement.
yeah. Now I don't know when y'all will get it,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you guys will get it.
Yeah.
And it's jazz, it's live, it's stuff y'all have heard before, but it's just kind of reimagined. And I just wanted to milk this. I wanted to milk what I worked really hard on.
Mhm.
And yeah, shows coming up. We have a mini tour coming up this summer. We're hitting a few festivals in North Carolina, Ohio, and some really exciting things. So just, if you're interested, if you want, keep up.
That's really exciting. Wow. Okay, last but not least, Beatty.
Yeah, man. I have a couple albums slated for this year. A few actually, but we'll see when and where those happen. Follow me on social media, Beedie412. That's BEEDIE 412. Pretty much all platforms. Beedie Land on YouTube, and video coming soon for the single with Boldy,
Oh, awesome.
Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Come find me. Say what's up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being on this new season of Chance Encounters.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be the format. I think I like this a group vibe, but yeah, I think whoever watches the audience, I think they're going to really have some great takeaways from what you guys said today. So there you have another episode of Chance Encounters in the books. Thank you, and be on the lookout for the next episode. Peace. We're done.
Beautiful.
So, no.